So this way you make blocks on the sheet so that you can accommodate one tree in each. We'll begin with the leafless tree, in which, as I said, we mix the water into the paint. Now this is burnt umber, and I add water by and by till it becomes somewhat melted ice cream consistency. I take a brush which is a sort of a medium round brush, or maybe a little thin medium round brush. Hold the end away from you, press, drag, and stop and lift. Then go back to the paint, mix the paint well with the brush, and come back to this and show the first division, that is called as primary branching. Taking care to see that this Y should not be too wide. If it is too wide, then it goes wrong. Then the base of the tree can be a little readjusted so as to make it look natural. But don't try to make it this way, all this way, thick to thin. That is typically the schoolish way of painting. And schoolish way of painting is a foolish way of painting. Okay. So after you divide this, you show the primary branching, then you show one more division 2 times, and now each time the brush starts moving towards my chest like this, each time, so that the thickness becomes gradually thin. See how this is very thick, but this is thin. Then divide it further. This is called, the second time it divides, it is called secondary branching, and then the third time it branches is called tertiary branching. Now many a times accidents will happen. For example, fortunately now here an accident has happened wherein this has become a sword shape. Now what should we do? In that case, you go backwards and readjust in such a way that the ongoing branches start looking gradually thinner and the discrepancy is solved. Then as you continue, you go on adding more and more thinner branches each time going back to the water, mixing the water with the paint, bringing it to the consistency which is melted ice cream consistency, and continue upwards with absolute tip of the brush. See, initially I started off with this angle of the brush, then gradually I made it this way. Now as I make it absolutely perpendicular, the branches will appear thinner and thinner, and you can paint as many as you want, showing these tertiary branches or terminal branches. Now it is not that every branch will be away from one another. There will be lot of overlapping also, and in that case you can just go on once again adding these branches which appear overlapping. Sometimes a branch or two may come down this way and then up with nervous jerky movements. As I often say, nervous jerky movements means you just give some jerky strokes and they'll appear as angular branches, not all curved. Once in a while ekha be thai jam, but not all. Okay, so this is how you can paint a leafless tree. Now we'll move on to foliage.